custom mudrooms can range between $7,000 and $12,000. Well, today we're on mission to build a beautiful, unique mudroom for a fraction of the cost to be budget friendly. Let's get into it. All right. I really thought it was gonna be smoother than that went. Okay, we're building this mudroom and we're gonna start out with the base cabinets. I've got my little scratch sheet here. It's a very unique layout, as you guys saw. We have this angle that's coming off the wall, which you have to utilize the upper cabinet storage. I definitely wanna put some lockers in there with doors and the bench. The bench will have like a butcher block on it or something solid, beefy, girthy, walnut, who knows? First thing I need to do, start breaking up my plywood. I bought 3 sheets and I'm willing to bet it's gonna be like a 6-sheet kind of build, start to finish, but we'll find that out. Let's start breaking this down. So I want to show you guys a new toy I just got for the shop. This is from Milescraft, their track saw. So I was able to take my existing circular saw and attach it via the track saw guide and my square here. And I'm able to break down sheets of plywood before throwing it onto the table saw without having to buy a separate track saw, which I have 2 of them. I have my Craig and I have my Ryobi one. And this is just a cool option to kind of, if you don't have a lot of space for your tools and you want a minimalistic approach, this is a great accessory. First time using it, just got it set up, and I don't have the right blade for plywood, so we're just gonna give it our best. That's actually a pretty good cut with this blade. Not bad. Let's throw it on the table saw and get our finishing cuts. So my idea with this is gonna be to create 4 individual cabinets and then assemble them together, as opposed to one giant 71-inch, because that's the space that we're working with, cabinet. And the reason why is because if I did one giant one, I feel like there'll be too much room for inconsistencies in terms of spacing. So you would have one drawer that's completely different size than another drawer, versus keeping 4 different cabinets, put them together, ensures there's consistency, because God knows I need more consistency now. 15.5, maybe 60. The idea here is gonna be a very deep drawer, right? Now, not necessarily for use, but because we're gonna have 16 inches of it to be a bench, and the last 12 inches of it is gonna be the lockers themselves. This would have to be that long because it would sit on it. Now, I do need to, before I start throwing pocket holes around like it's going out of business, I need to put a toe kick on the side here, which will be what they're usually, 4.5 inches tall, 2 inches deep, plus the face frame. We should be just fine. I'm gonna sandwich them together, I think, and then cut them with a jigsaw possibly. And I'm sandwiching because it's gonna be a lot easier to have a repeatable matching cut. So here is the concept of the bench. So we got a toe kick, we got our shoe drawer that will, let's be honest, it's probably only gonna be like maybe a 20-inch drawer, 18-inch drawer. We're gonna have like a butcher block on top so you can sit. We're not wasting extra material, everything's reinforced. Now I just have to replicate this 3 more times. See you in a bit. All right. That was actually not too bad. I love how it came out. I was going to do this without a toe kick and, put it on a 2x4, 2x6 or something, but this is so much nicer. It's such much better quality, I think. Now that I got this does feel kind of low, but I'm 6'2", who cares? I found a butcher block. It's 1.5 inches thickness. It's about $200 at Home Depot, which is great. I'll need that probably dead last because I need to make the cut perfectly in that built out section. Before I wrap up with these, I need to throw some face frames on them, which is just my classic 1x2, get this thing all trimmed out, and then we can start working on the glorious lockers. Momentum. All right, locker build. So with the lockers, to use the most efficient way, the plywood. So I've been thinking with the lockers, I want to be able to use the plywood efficiently, not to waste too many cuts. So we're gonna keep it simple. The locker will be 48 inches tall. That's exactly what this is. And we're gonna cut them up 15-inch strips. So that way each individual locker will be 15 inches deep, 17 inches wide. And the nice thing is they just have to match the exact layout as the bottom drawer. So throw this thing on the saw and we should be parting in no time. All right, so here's the big idea. Butcher block, you're with me. Cabinet, call it locker, secured all the pocket holes from the backside, put 2 on the inside here. Reason why is I need this to flow with the butcher block into the cabinet. So these pocket holes here are to secure these wings to make sure they're nice and square. So then I can attach my doors and not have to worry about this thing being completely sideways on me. Not bad, pretty simple, nothing too complicated. Just, I don't know what I'm going through a lot more. Is it pocket holes or is it plywood? Because both are getting ridiculous. I'm on my 4th sheet of plywood. Back to work. This is the most difficult part of the build, primarily because it's an A-frame, so we have a 30-degree angle that a pony wall. Second thing is I'm not there to make a little template cut, so I did my best to measure. I know that my pony wall comes up to about 70 inches, so we have about 4 inches to play with. I came up with a stencil for the upper cabinets here. And as you can see, I got my 30-degree angle here. The idea that this 4 inches is gonna cover the remainder of the gap, and then this is gonna hit the profile of the wall or roof because it's an A-frame. I also got this to stick out about 4 inches overhang because I think it kind of gives it a cool kind of dimensional look. Let's be honest, not the biggest cabinet, but also if I made this any bigger, it's not gonna be the most efficient use of space because this angle is gonna get shorter. That's just kind of a predicament that we're in, folks, right now. I've never made wonky cabinets like this, kind of like they would be for a camper. So today, we're gonna do something new. Let's put the old noggin to the test today. All right, so I'm not gonna pretend like I know angles. I'm terrible at them, but I know how to dumb them down through trial and error to figure things out. So 30 degrees opposite of that, I believe, is 150. And then just divide that in half, 75 degrees each. So each one of these is 75 degrees. Played around on my table saw a little bit, and through trial and error, I finally got it lined up dead nuts with this angle. This will allow for me to get this thing looking actually sharp and not be embarrassed when this thing is done and built and somebody opens the upper cabinets and they go, that looks like dog. Not today, Satan, not today. All right, moment of truth. I'm pretty sure everything lined up well enough. I'm really happy how these miters turned out, to be honest with you. It was a little daunting, I'll be honest with you, but I slow down the work pace and to figure things out a little bit better. Yo, this is sweet. I like how it sticks out. Let me show you a better look. So we have our profile. This is where my angle of my roof starts. The ceiling is 9 feet tall, and this is, I believe, 7 feet. I also kept this open, no dividers. Reason I'm thinking is somebody who has this place, because there's not enough cabinet storage or closet space, this would be a great option to put, blankets and maybe linens, just a great option for storage solutions that I think is actually useful. One of my favorite things, when you're in the middle of building something and you got some progress, you look back at something that you did and you go, man, kind of become proud of you a little bit, And I love that feeling. I love chasing that feeling. It's definitely a high that you should never forget. Well, today is day 2 with this. Tomorrow is gonna be day 3. My goal for tomorrow is to bang out all the 4 doors, 4 drawer faces, and then, well, actually 8 doors because there's 2 on top. Shouldn't be too hard if I just keep in the zone and start getting distracted. Right now, it's almost dinner time. I'm gonna go clean up, get some food, and start the day off nice and early tomorrow. See you in the morning. All right, today is our door making day. Very busy day. Before I get too carried away with it, I do want to be fully done with these carcasses. What I want to do, and I've learned this lesson from my last mudroom that I've built, is oftentimes you'll hang stuff here, but it's always nice to have something down below for like a shelving unit to either put an extra pair of shoes in, maybe hats, maybe gloves. That way it doesn't get kind of lost within all the coats. And I've learned that putting it towards the bottom is probably better than on top because you don't know how long your coats are, and you want to have the option to remove it. So I'm going to be using a shelf pin jig from Milescraft. It's got everything you need on it. It's got even a little storage solution for all the tools you'll need. I'll take this off, put it on the side here, use the little collet that I have here, drill all my holes, and I can throw my pins on, put a piece of plywood with an edge banding, and it'll look perfect.
Cute iron.
Oh, you like this?
It's so petite.
Do you know why I bought this?
Why?
Because I broke 2 of your regular irons trying to do edge banding on wood.
I do remember that.
That's
I
exactly
do.
why. And now this one's on the way out. Look, I dropped it already a handful of times. The reason yours broke because it left overheating, and I guess you don't want to let an iron overheat. Which, fun fact, I didn't know an iron can overheat.
Oops.
You live and you learn.
Well, you didn't buy me a new one.
Put it on my card.
Business expense.
All right, there we go. So be honest, do you think you would utilize this little shelf like for like purses?
Oh yeah, that would be full.
Yeah.
That'd be overflowing.
I remember on their last mudroom, you had like not only like 5 jackets, but also like a fanny pack, a purse,
Baskets.
a basket. So I think this is, I think that's more efficient use of space because you got a jacket that's probably gonna stop right here.
Yeah, no,
Unless
that's
it's like
great.
Unless it's like a pea coat or something, which.
A trench.
A trench coat.
Yeah, those are long.
All right, get a trench coat. But you're not supposed to wear anything under it. I've drawn up all the dimensions for my doors. And the way I like to make them, because I have a bunch of them to make, is I'd like to only change my router bit once. But because there's 3 different styles that I'm doing here, I think I'm gonna make one of each, put them together, make sure all my dimensions on my styles and rails are all correct. And then I can just start busting them all out. And I guarantee you, if I get in that mode, I can be done with them by the end of the day today. That means hopefully tomorrow morning I could sand and paint. No. Sand, prime, then paint. Okay, well, that's what we're doing.
So what if for the lockers you did like some sort of pattern on the top?
A pattern?
Like that.
Let me see.
Like some kind of...
Like an etch, yeah, it's like perforated through.
Or like I saw some like in a design. Is that too hard to do?
I don't know. I mean, we could try it. It's definitely something I'd have to freehand it. How about this? How about I put together the doors and then you could look at them and see if that would actually look good on it or not.
Like at the top?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not, it's
just like kind of add something fun, but more
I've always
work.
wanted to add something fun to a piece of build.
I know you do.
Those are the last words I've ever said. By the way, I like this color though.
That's a good color, huh?
Yeah.
Can a girl get some heat around here?
Oh, your hands are freezing cold. Get some gloves. What are you doing? You lunatic.
All that work for a square?
Not just a square, it's one perfect square.
True.
With joinery, mortise and tenon joinery. That's its weight in gold. 3/4. Do you want to play a game of how much does it cost?
Sure.
Okay, so this is 8-foot board. It's 12 inches wide. It's a pine. It's a select pine. What do you think this costs?
$100.
I actually thought you're gonna be like, oh, $10. What?
Okay, well, let me retry it. $40.
It's 60. It's not as extreme now that you went to 100.
Well, because I don't know, Price is Right. I went too
You should have
far.
gone with the $1, then see what's closer to you.
I would not be good at this game.
$100. Well, look, that's extreme. I just really thought you're gonna be like, oh, $5. It's
I don't know, inflation.
inflation, tariffs. That's what it is.
That smells good.
You like the smell
Love the smell of wood.
in the mornings?
In the morning, evening.
Would you say you love the smell of morning wood?
There's just something so fresh about it in the morning.
Oh, the old untouched
Just
wood?
inhale that.
The wood hasn't been tampered with?
Hasn't been tampered with. The wood God intended it to be.
The gods of wood. You know, if you're gonna have this kind of foul, inappropriate
I don't know what you're
talk
talking
here,
about. You were
you know, the HR department.
shaving the wood and it smelled good.
The HR department is really gonna be up my ass on this. See, and I even kept a sticker on so you can return it after if you don't like it.
Get your $100 back.
Could you imagine go to Home Depot and be like, yeah, I didn't like the wood.
Here.
All of it's there, the whole volume.
This is still the wood that I bought.
Yeah, it's just in a different form. All right, so this is what we're looking at. Let me go bust out like a kajillion of these and then we'll start priming them. All right, not the most optimal day to spray paint. Well, spray primer. Wind's kicking in today. I should just be happy that it's not raining or snowing. So we're working with what we got. Got everything taped off. Gonna shoot some primer, make sure everything gets sealed. Then tomorrow, hopefully I can do finishing sanding and then spray the paint. And fun fact, I don't know what the paint's still gonna be, but we'll figure that tomorrow. That's tomorrow Alex's problem. Right now, let's try to shoot this primer in a way where it doesn't end up on the camera or on the shop. I still got water in here from when it was drained out. I gotta get the primer going. Where are you? Come on, primer. You'd be amazed how much water is in there in this line. Probably close to a quart. Whenever you're flushing it out, there it is. We got primer. Woo! Maybe step on this side. Your black leather jacket is gonna get covered.
Oh my gosh, I picked the wrong thing to wear.
Hold on, let me clean the lens already.
I'm gonna stand back here.
Yeah, stand back and zoom in. My work clothes are gonna be covered in primer. God, I wish I could do this inside the shop. Whew! It's shifting directions.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's all over my face.
I'm so sorry. Just maybe stand over there. Whew. Let's make it quick. It's in my eyeballs.
Go get your glasses.
What's that?
Go get your glasses.
Well, if it's in my eyes, that's the least of my concerns. Whew. All right, that should do it. That's like an explosion of primer. All right, I'm gonna let that dry, take the top stuff off probably in an hour, and then I'll be able to put all the doors on top of the bench area because I can get covered in paint and primer. Nobody's gonna see it. My lens, oh my God, I gotta wash this thing. All right, hopefully tomorrow's gonna be a better day. No wind! No wind! Oh, no, 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 no! It all came down and it all came down. These cabinets fell off with the wind, hopefully. Well, that's not too bad. I had at least enough time to dry. Oh, that's gonna suck. I'm gonna have to sand that down. Oh, you probably can't see that. All the grass is in that. This freaking blows. I step away for like 30 minutes. Let's see how this one looks. This one's not terrible. Just a couple of corners. Most important part, nothing broke. I stepped away for like 30 minutes to go grab something. The wind must have kicked it just right, it fell over. There's nothing you could do about it. I mean, I needed to dry it. I needed to shoot the primer today in order to paint tomorrow. This is what it is. I'm gonna take this down, give it a light sand here, maybe in an hour that it dries a little bit better. Give it a quick dose of primer so I'll have a good coat tomorrow. It is what it is, folks. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's a bummer. Hey, it's the next day. The primer's all dry. The wind, well, it's not as bad as it was yesterday, but it's not ideal. Although I love this. This is spring. Bring it on. Here's the color that we came up with. Some of you are not gonna like this color. So we were going for moody, but yet modern. And the color that we found on Pinterest is a really cool color. It's called Iron Ore by Sherwin-Williams. It's a satin. It's basically the darkest level of charcoal you could find. We saw some pictures. They look so cool. We're gonna drop it down. I'm convinced it's gonna look awesome, especially with the black doors and windows that we have at the cabin. It's gonna be perfect. Let's go, baby, before the wind kicks in. Okay, got the very last coat on. I wanted to show you guys what the example of this looks like. So this is iron ore. It's, like I said, it's just a step away from being like a black color. So it's super, super, super charcoal. It's got almost like the matte kind of finish to it. I'm a huge fan of it. I'm assuming we're gonna put some like gold on it for hardware or maybe even brass. Rose gold would be pretty sick too. We're gonna put some heads together and come up with something sick for this. But in the meantime, while this is all drying, I need to start working on banging out some drawers for this thing. All right, so here's what we're coming up with for the drawers. Nothing special, we've done this before, pocket holes all around, 1/2-inch plywood, gonna edge band the sucker. Here's the one thing I did differently. Use the same 1/2-inch plywood for the middle as opposed to the 1/4-inch plywood. Reason being, shoes are heavy, folks, and I don't want the bottom to start bottoming out. So this will make it nice and strong. Not to mention, I'm using about 80-pound rated drawer slides, the ball bearing stuff. So partnered up with this, you can put a freaking dumbbell in there if you wanted. Let me throw this all up. I think I only got like 3 more to do. We'll be out of here in no time. Good morning, it's day 6, it's install day, and I couldn't be more excited. We're gonna get the stuff into the cabin through all this ice and snow that's still here, but we got a dolly, so we're optimistic. All right, first mission accomplished. Cabinets are safely in the cabin no matter the snow conditions. Here's what we gotta do. We gotta cut out our baseboards here to get rid of that and start stacking our base layer. I also got some side pieces for filler, which will allow for a nice tight fit. This base layer, I'm gonna be on my knees for such a long time. So I'm really actually excited for this. These are the knee blades from Milescraft. Look how awesome these are. They're gel inside here, so they're nice and cushy. Like, you wanna stay in these all day. Like, this is so slick. Where was this when we did flooring or baseboards? This has been so much better. Didn't have to ruin our knees. All right, start ripping off, tracing this out, start cutting it out and trucking along. So I'm gonna be spending a lot of time on my knees getting the base layer installed plus all the drawers. So I got these knee blades from Milescraft. These are incredible. They're wheels, knee guards, and they're gel inside. So they're super comfortable, super squishy. These are a game changer. We should have had these when we did the flooring or the baseboards in this entire cabin. Like, this would have made life so much easier. Well, the good news is we have them now, and at least this section will make our lives a little bit easier. I did a little mock-up with the lowers, make sure we have even clearances on both sides. I pre-painted some filler pieces, just thinking ahead for the entire thing. So we got 1 inch and 3/16, so I will put some pocket pilot holes down here, secure it with 2-inch screws, and then this filler piece will be perfectly gapped. And then from that point on, I can continue attaching all of these lowers together through the face frame, getting them ready for the bench. It all has to be dead flat, folks. It has to be. Now this is probably the most expensive single piece for the build for this mudroom, and that's the butcher block. Went with a little bit nicer piece. This is a live edge slab. Got it at Home Depot. 6 foot tall, 39 inches wide, 500 big ones. That's what that costs. It's steep, but this is gonna make it look so much better. You can get one for about $200 less, but I figured let's just have a good time and make this thing the coolest mudroom ever. Right? Yep, just like that. Oh, that's a nice tight fit. Woo! That could not have gone any better. Dude, I was so nervous about having these wonky gaps. Oh, so sick. This is so sick. The walnut is a perfect contrast with the, what is that? Iron ore? Yeah, iron ore, the color. Irina has not seen me purchasing the slab yet, and I think she's gonna lose her mind about it, even though it's not for us. It's for whatever other family is gonna enjoy this cabin. This is sick. Okay, I'm gonna secure from the bottom, and then we'll start bringing our lockers. Building these lockers with no bottom, it's tough. I mean, because there's flex into it now, so it's not perfectly square. So I'm using the best of my ability using a speed square to make sure I'm 90, and then I'm gonna throw in my pocket holes on both sides to secure it in place. If it's off by 16ths, I don't think it's gonna make a huge difference. I think this is a sufficient enough way to put it together while also having this flow into it. I've done it before, it worked, and we'll do it again, and I'm sure it'll be just fine. I'm also making sure I'm using fine coarse threads, not coarse, fine thread screws. Reason why is because this is a hardwood, and if you use coarse, sometimes it could split, even though this is 1.5 inches. I don't think it's gonna split, but you know, you're just trying to follow the rules of woodworking the best of your ability. Okay, everything is square-ish so far, to my loose understanding. We really won't know until the doors go on. Next up is Big Bertha on top here. I'm a little nervous about that because we have these 2 different planes coming up. I think I did a good job, but I could have shot myself in the foot. Only one way to find out. Let's give it the old college try. Sometimes I think I know what I'm doing. Just sometimes. Okay. Gonna start hanging all the doors. A lot of them to do. So I'm using the Milescraft Euro hinge jig to attach all the hardwares on the doors. This thing, I mean, it's bananas. It's got everything you want for anything. More stuff than you know what to do with. So one of my favorite features is the spacers on it, the setbacks, and also this pin locator. So you can have consistent spacing as opposed to using your tape measure to get the correct spacing. So the way it works is, let's say I wanna do a 3-inch spacing. It just grabs the very top, boom, goes against the side. I take my clamp it in, take this fun little bit, put it right inside the slot, twist it, and it's got a stop collar. So you just go until it stops. Perfect, consistent spacing every single time. Moving on to the big doors now for the lockers. I made a little executive decision for the upper cabinet, specifically the doors. Let me show you. You saw me hanging them all opening up this way, and I wanted to be symmetrical so, you know, the lockers would open the same way. But then I kind of thought about it, look weird if the uppers just open that way. So I just decided to flip them and make them like a traditional cabinet would, kind of this 50-50 open. I still don't know how I feel about it. I'll probably know more once the hardware is on, and if something kind of catches your eye, that's when I'm gonna start regretting it. Hopefully we don't get to there. I actually absolutely despise installing drawers just because there's just a lot of stress to get everything lined up. So what I'm using is this Milescraft drawer jig. I'm pretty excited to use it. It's my first time ever using it, and it's extremely versatile. So here's how it kind of applies. So you have an A and B side. We're gonna use our B side here, and it's gonna catch on the side of this face frame. I'm just gonna clamp it on the side like this, and I'll be able to put my giant 20-inch ball bearing slides in here and secure it in place. Now, what's really awesome about this jig is that you can also flip it afterwards, line it up on the same terrain, clamp it in place, and do your box install. So you'll be able to stretch your drawer slides out and install it on the box, and it's perfectly lined up. But then, in case you have a drawer face frame that you're trying to attach, let's say it's a drawer, then you have a face frame and then doors below, you can use this notch right there to clamp it from the bottom onto the face frame, and I'll continue on the same exact plane. And you got a little level in there, and non-marring rubber bumpers on the back, so you're not gonna mess up any of your paint jobs or anything like that. Pretty neat. Let's start throwing these on, because I'm excited to see all these giant 20-inch drawers popping out here. That's perfect. I like that a lot. Let's bust out 3 more, and then we'll get ready for our drawer faces. So I'm getting ready to do the drawers for the doors here. Typically, if it's a single knob, I like to drill a hole, put it up, put a screw in, align it, pull the drawer out, put clamps in, and then secure it from the back. But I'm using these drawer pulls. So I'm using a jig from Milescraft to attach the hardware here. And what's cool is you align these 2 holes with the width of your hardware like this, and then you find the center of your door face that you want to use. Once it's all lined up here, I'm gonna take my drill bit, making sure not to drill through my thigh. Now that it's open and the handle is gonna fit absolutely perfect, I will then come up here, secure it with 2 screws, align it perfectly, pull the drawer out, and then throw 4 screws from the back, and this thing will be done and ready for the hardware. All right, guys, let's talk about the overall budget for this mudroom build. Our total cost was $1,662.03. That is an incredible price considering the range for a professional to come in to do this for you is between $7,000 and $12,000, depending on the materials that are being used. There are places for you to cut down the cost even more past this, because we know that the most expensive part here is this $500 slab that we're using, slab edge bench, and the plywood material itself. The going rate for plywood, depending on the market, is $84 to $88. You could potentially save some money by switching to MDF, but you're looking at about $150 overall save, which I don't think is worth it. We have plenty of storage above the cabinets here. I went ahead and switched the cabinet doors to make sure it lines up with the lockers down below. You could store anything from winter clothes here to umbrellas to maybe even linens if you wanted to. The lockers are nice and roomy with hangers on top, and I did forget to bring my shelves that we built for these little pegboards down below. The drawers down below are super spacious. They're 20 inches deep, and that's plenty of room to be able to put anything you need from slippers to boots to sneakers. The bench is extra long and continues all the way through with plenty of seating room and storage room down behind. And if you guys have any more ideas that would make this mudroom even more epic, I would love to hear your ideas in the comment section down below. Thanks so much for watching. In the meantime, here's a video thing you might enjoy. See ya.